him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Smack 'em a gob. It's time for the only news that matters. And in a new interview with Classic Rock, Bruce Dickinson took a trip down memory lane, reflecting on a moment that unknowingly foreshadowed his future with Iron Maiden. Recalling a 1980 gig at London's Music Machine, where Maiden's then fronted by Paul Di'Anno opened for Dickinson's band Samson. The legendary vocalist admitted he was struck by the steer pull of the band. Bruce recalls, all these Maiden fans turned up, and then immediately Maiden finished it all. They all fucked off, leaving us to play to 100 punters. And I thought, there's something going on with this band. I think they're going to be big. Now, decades later, and firmly cemented as the voice of Maiden for generations, Bruce Dickinson has opened up about one particular song from the formative Di'Anno era, one he flat out refuses to sing. Bruce Dickinson feels Maiden should no longer perform Remember Tomorrow live, a song co-written by Steve Harris and Paul Di'Anno, and frequently regarded as one of their most emotional songs. Bruce said, if ever Paul owned a song, it's that one. I can sing it, and I have done it, but I think we should leave it with Paul now. To commemorate their 50th anniversary in 2025, Iron Maiden is producing an official documentary sent for a global theatrical release. The film will feature interviews with the band, the fans, and notably includes Paul Di'Anno's last interview. Paul Di'Anno, born Paul Andrews, died at his home in Salisbury on October 21st at the age of 66. Born on May 17, 1958 in I don't know how to pronounce this, Chingford, East in London, Paul rose to prominence as the original lead vocalist of the iconic English heavy metal band Iron Maiden, serving from 1978 to 1981. He provided vocals on their seminal self-titled album Iron Maiden and its influential successor, Killers. Yeah, man, I'm glad that Bruce is saying that, but I wish Bruce would say that about every song with Paul Di'Anno. Because I don't like the way he interprets those songs. The same way I didn't even like the way that Ronnie James Dio interpreted the Ozzy songs. To me, personally, that makes it proof that it doesn't matter how technically great you are. It's the attitude. And Paul had that attitude that you can't replicate. At least Bruce can't. And yeah, Paul can't sing the Bruce songs. I get that. And the reason Paul can't sing the Bruce songs, well, I don't know. I'm sure if he did. Because I haven't heard any Paul Di'Anno singing any Bruce Maiden song. It might be out there on some... I always thought that Paul would have sounded great on Hallowed Be Thy Name. I think that song would have suited Paul. If he had that vocals that he had on the first two Maiden albums, singing that song, I think I would like it more than the Bruce version. But man, I love the Bruce version, and it is my favorite Iron Maiden song with Bruce's. Definitely Hallowed Be Thy Name. And, I can't picture, Paul doing like The Trooper or, you name it. Other than Hallowed Be Thy Name, I think every song really, Paul wouldn't sound good. Just like I don't think Bruce sounds good singing the Paul stuff. And there's actual proof of that. I just don't like it. I don't like anything he did with Iron Maiden when he's singing those Paul songs. I mean, it's not horrendous. I would even say Ronnie Dio's even worse than Dickinson when it comes to singing the older stuff. But it just doesn't have that attitude, that swagger that was Paul Di'Anno, man. He had that special oomph. The same special oomph that David Lee Roth had. Where Sammy Hagar singing David Lee Roth songs is a joke. And yeah, I know Dave can't sing Sammy Hagar songs. I get it, but I don't even think Sammy can sing Sammy Hagar songs. Well, actually, moral of that story is Sammy Belcher sucks. But going back to Di'Anno, man, that's how I discovered Maiden. I discovered them on the first album. And, to me, they were like the champions at that time. And then Killers came out and got them even a little bigger. And I personally think that if Di'Anno would have stayed in the band, they would have been just as successful. I know a lot of people don't think that. I've seen that argument a million times. And hey, that's your opinion, pal. And I got my opinion. And by the way, I'm not going to say, I don't care what anybody says. Because people that say that, they care. And I don't care. If you think that they would have never been big with Di'Anno, that's great that you think that. But there's no way you can change my mind that I think they would have been as huge with Di'Anno. Oh, but Ralph, you ain't got no proof on that. That's right, and neither do you. Nobody's got proof on that because it didn't happen. I think it would have worked. A lot of you think it wouldn't have. But we just leave it at that. All I know is that Iron Maiden worked the best with Paul Di'Anno on vocals. The best, And of course, Clive Burr, but Clive lasted one more album. But his playing is just unmistakable. And I love Dennis Stratton, what he does in Strange World, and then we got Adrian, what he does on Prodigal Son. It's just two incredibly solid lineups that released two incredible albums, I like the first three albums that Dickinson did with Iron Maiden a lot. A lot. Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind, and Power Slave, to me, are incredible albums. I love them, but I love the first two more. And I remember when Number of the Beast came out, it was maybe a year or two after. I was at a party, and somebody had an Iron Maiden single they were playing that the B-side was Remember Tomorrow with Bruce. Might have been Run to the Hill single or Number of the Beast, one or two. Anyway. And I was like, oh shit, I like to hear Bruce do that song. And they played it, and I was like, yeah, no. I had that B-side today, and I did revisit it like a few years ago to hear it again. And to me, it's kind of like, it's Bruce Dickinson singing a Paul Di'Anno song. That's what it is. It sounds like Bruce Dickinson. That's when Bruce had the best voice he ever had was during Number of the Beast, because that Beast over Hammersmith album, which I own, unbelievable. Bruce is on fire on that. Yeah, I don't like when he does the Di'Anno songs, but when he nails those Iron Maiden Number of the Beast songs, including Total Eclipse, holy crap, that's a great live performance from Bruce that I don't think he's ever sounded that good again. I saw, on the early years, they played some outdoor thing, or maybe it was indoor, Peace of Mind, and Bruce was already starting to strain. And yeah, I know a lot of you love Live After Death. I can't listen to that album. Bruce sounds like ass. I know some of you can't see it because a lot of you think it's the greatest live album ever, and I have total respect for you that you think that. I guess you like your favorite live album, you like bad vocals because he's straining. I'm sorry. Listen to Flight of the Icarus. Oh my. Where on the studio album, Bruce is unbelievably amazing. On Peace of Mind, on Flight of Icarus, on all those songs. And I thought on Power Slave he sounded amazing as well, But, that's just my opinion. Opinions are subjective. Somebody left a comment the other day going, opinions are subjective. I guess he didn't agree with my opinion, so he had to remind me that my opinion is subjective. But you know what? His opinion is subjective too. Everybody's got different opinions, and I respect everybody as long as you are polite. Then I don't respect you or your opinion then. But anyway, what is your opinion? Leave it in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching The Only News That Matters. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Ring that little notification bell and like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.